What is up, you guys? The Fallout with here, and today I'm going to do a weird what if. This is one where some aspects are gonna be kind of ingrained, but this is gonna be what if Deku was Gyutaro. I don't know if I said it right, but I just want to say one thing. This guy is a real good brother. I don't know how to. If you guys watched the anime Demon Slayer, I've seen a good portion of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, and I could say without a shadow of a doubt, during that whole fight with Gyutaro and Tengen, I was rooting for Gyutaro to win because in the end, he's doing it for his sister. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna give him any credit, like he's not a good guy, but this all happened because he was just trying to protect his sister. Take it what you will, but and as far as I know, today is Sunday, and Action Jackson's on. Okay, so here it is. In a world where demons and demon slayers alike have dwindled in the past, a new uprising was coming, and there was basically humans with weapons now having to fight demons. And among that was also a phenomenon called quirks, which people found out they had. Now, this couldn't do anything for the majority of them, for not a majority, but for a good portion of the population. But the other half were given these abilities, something that far exceeded their own expectations. And after a while, it became a school of weapon users alike. Some having arrows, some wielding spears, even people that wield guns. Now, these people are known as demon slayers, and in that regard, the demon slayers have quirks, and these quirks fit into their abilities, which they know as quirk breathing. And with quirk breathing, there's so many that is truly unique to its own. Some wield half and half quirks, and as you may know, that there is some half and half users. But then there's a darker side. A dark side that wields mysterious powers unknown to the human eye. And there are evil and foul beasts. There's some that are as big as mountains, and some that are just as small as, well, let's see, a water bottle. Now, these are called demons, and our main protagonist is Izuku, who for some reason is first a user of the, what is it called? The sickle style. Now, why am I using the sickle style? Well, because Gyutaro, as far as I remembered in the anime and a little bit of the manga, that's what he wielded. And he's gonna wield some more stuff, but it's pretty much him. Now, Deku, he was first human, as all living people usually are. Izuku lived a normal life, saying that he wanted to become as strong as the demon slayers, and he saw the number one slayer, which yes, technically is the number one hero, but slayers, and he is known as what is it called? He is known as a Hashira, which is one of the strongest of all. And there is basically the smaller, basically the lesser Hashira, which are not lesser. If I was to say it, All Might is technically the number one Hashira, and then the rest are basically dwindled down by the number two Hashira and three, until there's the number 10. Then you have the subclass Hashira, which are just minor ones, like basically, like Aizawa and who else? 13, or I think 13's in the. Well, doesn't matter. So, Izuku is wanting to be that, and he wants to be the number one Hashira. And Izuku has a twin sister known as Izumi. Now Izumi and Izuku are wanting to become the Hashira, although there is basically uh what is the name? Oh, what's her name? Freaking Izumi wants to become the best priestess out there. Which, if you don't know, there are priestess. And these priestess have the abilities to ward off and basically beat down not Hashira, demons. They're skilled in more of a medicinal herbs, magic. Well, they all have different things, but it's truly it's a woman. Well, it's a thing where women with quirks and you know who are very smart and wanting to fight for the greater good, they become priestess. Well, most of the guys become the Hashiras, or technically known as the Hunters. And with this, a cycle of basically two fighters that come around from 5 to 10 in a group, basically make their way to fight demons. Sorry that if you guys don't understand it, my brain was kind of scrambled for a second. But in short, to make this more simpler, a lot of the females in this world basically become priestess, or at least the ones that are capable enough to become priestess. And the same goes with the guys that become Hashira, or the Hunters, which are basically kind of more of a lesser known faction than the what is called Demon Slayers. Now, Izuku wants to do something, and Izumi wants to do something as well, which is finish their life and then their goals. But over time, things don't seem to be that way anymore. As of now, Izuku sees Izumi get bit by one of the demons, and they couldn't find their way home. Now, why didn't they do this? Was because Izuku and Izumi were still kids. They didn't know the dangers of being in a forest and not knowing the demons. One of them being this weird this demon with antlers and more of a stubbier yet tall appearance, was basically grabbing Izumi. Izuku grabbed a stick and just started running, jumping up in the air and just slashing at the freaking creature with a stick. But the thing is that the stick just snapped in two, with Izuku just getting kicked, getting kicked from the stomach, hitting a tree. This is when Izumi gets bit, but after that, she stabs it with in the eye with a freaking rock, or at least a sharp-looking rock, and these two started to run away. Them actually losing the demon, but not for long, because, well, Izumi is losing blood and the demon can smell it. While this is happening, Izuku is carrying her, running as fast as he could, and eventually hiding into somewhere, passing out. This is when Izuku goes to sleep, and basically Izumi does the same. And while the creature is coming to try to find them, and while these two are also passed out, a demon slayer actually comes in, running towards the guy and shooting out strings out of his hands, causing the demon to actually get slashed or getting cut up, and one of his arms just fell off. And this guy's saying, I won't let you run, get away, you foul beast," and jumping up, cutting it with its strings, and saying that I am known as, well, so and so, and you had died by my hands, and basically running off, trying to find other demons to slay. And you may be wondering, how is he not seeing them, and basically, why was that guy there? And to quickly answer this, is that they're in a testing grounds to see which ones are actually good and which ones are not so good. Being the people who want to become demon slayers, and Izuku and Izumi kind of trespassed, but without knowing. Now, Izuku and Izumi wake up soon after, but with Izumi looking at Izuku, this is when Izuku just says, "Hey, Izumi, are you okay?" And this is when Izumi starts coming after him, and Izuku just says, "What did I do?" And basically, Izuku just starts running and running and running and running and wondering to himself, what's happening? Why is she chasing at me with those weird eyes? And Izuku is saying, wait a minute, if I somehow manage to get to the house, maybe Mom and Dad can actually help me. This is when Izuku is basically trying to find his mother and father, and the two, Inko and Hisashi, well, they were there. Now, I did say that something was gonna happen, and Izuku is Gyutaro, so here's how it is gonna all wind down. With Izuku finding Izumi in this kind of state, the demon is basically now Izumi, with her being so ferocious and trying to kill Izuku. They lock Izumi in the room, and Inko says what happened, and Izuku explains everything, with Hisashi actually holding his son and saying that everything will be alright. Izuku is wondering what's going to happen to her, and they said that they're going to just have to keep her there locked up and until the day she gets healed. And Izuku doesn't know this, but things don't add up. But Izuku was letting her live in the cage, not in a cage, well, technically in a cage, chained up after Hisashi did some more stuff, and basically locking her arms and legs so that way she doesn't kill. And with her, she was very fast to try to kill Hisashi, but with Hisashi actually being a demon, a once renowned demon slayer, and basically just had to fight her without killing her, Izuku is wondering, is Dad gonna be okay? And Inko says, yes, your daughter's gonna be, your father's gonna be all right. She's just sick still, all right, honey? And Izuku looks down and basically is upset because he can't do anything for her. Now, other people have found out about Izumi, and they want to kill Izumi because she might actually be a threat. And this is when he says, well, not Izuku. Hisashi just says, well, why can't we get one of the priests to help out and find a cure? and they say that they're not able to do that. And this goes on for a couple of months, and Izuku just sees that Izumi is basically acting the same way, but she now somehow sleeps and wakes up. And not only that, over time, Izuku just moves his hand one way, and Izumi does the does the same. Damn, I am really screwing up right now. But Izuku was about to try to talk to her, but she growls and basically tries to charge at Izuku. Well, it doesn't work because she's chained up. Now Izuku is in his room one night, and all Izuku hears is a commotion, and hearing "Where's the girl?" and he hears his dad saying, "What girl? Don't lie to me. There's a girl. There's a girl over here named Izumi Midoriya. She was turned into a demon, and now we're here to kill her." And this is when Hisashi says, "Don't think you're gonna just come here and just kill my daughter. We can find a way to cure her, to cure her." And they say, "Come on, you already know this was gonna end you know how this was gonna end. She's gonna die due to her cursed blood. And not only that, you wouldn't have the guts to kill your own daughter. We understand that. So we are going to kill her for you." And Hisashi says, "Get out of my house now." And while this is happening, Izuku sees Hisashi just grab what is it called? A saber, basically a great sword, and just slash at the guy. While the guy just, moves backwards, says, "Hey, he isn't going to cooperate. Get him." And while this is happening, Izuku sees Hisashi actually being known as sheesh, man, as the fire demon slayer, known as Spitter. Now, Hisashi's quirk is basically the same thing, but with that being his weapon, his quirk comes out of his mouth, but it's a breathing style. And while he spits flames out of his mouth, it gets onto the sword, and he can slash at the wind, causing fire blades. And one of the guys actually gets burnt, and another one fights Hisashi. And while this is going on, Hisashi is getting tired and all, and Inko sees this and says, "What are you doing to my husband?" and gets stabbed. Hisashi was gonna run towards her, but a guy with his speed, with a speed quirk, basically blitzes them, having a rapier, and just starts to stab at Hisashi 20 times in a single move. This is when Hisashi actually just looks and tells Izuku to run. And Izuku, seeing that all those guys are right there, gets very scared and just starts running. And the one place he knows that has more of a secure door and wouldn't be able to be open or can't get opened easily. Should have said that. I'm such an idiot. Uh, is the room that Izumi's in. And Izuku locks the door up, and they say, "Open up, kid. We know what happened with your mother and father is tragic, but they couldn't give up the kid. Why don't you be a good little boy and just open the door? We'll take care of you and even help you out." Not only that, we'll make your sister have a swift death. We understand that you're scared, but please open up. And this is when Izuku is just frightened, and the guy says, "Well, I guess there's no other choice." He gets very upset, and he says, "Hey, bring the big one here." And this is when a guy with what is it called? A steel chain and a spiked ball comes in and just slams down the door with his chain ball fist. This is when the guy is actually rocking a freaking 8 feet tall, basically taller than All Might, I think, and says, "Move out of the way, kid. Please. We wouldn't want to hurt you." And Izuku is just moving backwards. And before he had a chance to think, and before not the Hashira, the Demon Slayers could do a thing, Izuku gets bit by Izumi. And this is when Izumi basically bites Izuku's neck and just tears off a chunk of it. And this is when Izuku just falls down to the ground bleeding. And this is when they say, "Oh crap, they got the kid." And while this is happening, the big guy actually just slams the ball on Izumi's head, to the point where she is kind of more of, what is the word? She looks like a crushed victim if a building collapsed, kind of splattered, with a lot of her body mangled. And Izuku looks at her and looks at her face, and all Izuku can see is Izumi looking back at her with tears. And Izumi is still alive and just places her hand on him. And all Izuku hears in the end is "Big Brother." Technically, these two are twins, but Izuku was, the first one in the, not the first one, little. No, wait, he was the first one out of the womb. And Izuku hears her and just says that, "Did she just call me that? No way, she couldn't have. She just bit me in my neck. She she bit me on my neck, and she she remembered what I said." Now, over time, Izuku taught Izumi how to speak. Now, she couldn't speak as much, but she spoke. Izuku kept saying that he's the big brother. He's supposed to protect the little sister. And she basically just growls at him and just says big brother, but all mangled. But this time was different. She said it as she knew him forever. And Izuku says that if he had just more time, if he was older, he could have found a cure or something to just relieve her of like her pain without killing her, or possibly find a cure so that way the demons could just die and all those that have been turned would just be human again. Mm. Sorry about that. Water break. Izuku could have done something, but these people just took that away. These monsters did all this. And Izuku wished that he could have done something more. And while these two are dying, she basically is holding him and starts to just fade away. Now the guys who are demon slayers, they just walk out and says that in like 15 minutes, the people are gonna clean up this mess. Hopefully, they aren't too shocked on the kids dying. And the smaller one with the rapier says, "Did you have? I could have just charged in and actually saved the kid, but I was more shocked on what her sister looked like and was." And the guy who fought Hisashi says, "Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. It's never easy to just see that. I'm sorry that the father had to just go like that too." The big one says, the small one was brave. He was willing to die, or at least willing to defend her sister, even though he knew that she could have killed him any second. He paid the price for it, but still, he was a good kid. May his next life be more charitable than this. And Izuku is just feeling this world full of blackness, feeling every single wave of hatred, and saying that all these people did was take away something. They took away his mother, then his father, then they also killed his sister. And he looks at them and he looks at those three and thinks to himself that they weren't heroes. They were just as monster. They were just as much of a monster as the demons were. And Izuku basically says that he wants to kill them. He wants to kill all of them. These people are too corrupt. They should have saved him, but they didn't. They even killed his mother. They talk about being heroes. They talk about being heroes to mankind. What kind of monsters do that to, what kind of heroes do that to people who are just innocent? Him just him just controlled by this anger and hatred starts to feel this pain, but he starts to feel sick too. And he says, "Oh, that's right. He he was just bit right now earlier, and his sister as well turned into this creature, and now it's gonna happen to him." And he thinks to himself, "I kind of deserve it then. I kind of deserve it. I kind of deserved it now. After all, I failed my sister. I wonder, is there any ways that I could somehow just get revenge? Is there any way I could just live my life without dying?" And Izuku doesn't notice that the blood is somehow being absorbed into his body. He's somehow just thinking to himself that he's losing all of his senses, but all he feels is getting stronger. His mind is not fully understanding this until the pain just goes away and he thinks he's dead. This is when all he just sees is his sister, noticing now that her eyes are gone. Not only that, noticing that her body is more thinner, truly thinner. And Izuku looks shocked to see that his body feels lighter. And he thinks to himself, could he even get up? But as soon as he thought that, he feels a wave of pleasure and guilt. The pleasure of being stronger, though. And not only that, the guilt of something. He doesn't know why, but he feels guilty. And to sum it all up, it's his sister's guilt that he's feeling. In the end, she was controlled, but she didn't know what to do. And then, but she kind of, after lost control of her body and everything, a part of her was still in that demon form, trying to reach out, but in the end failed. So, in the end, she kills Izuku, and Izuku feels it. Now that that's all happened, she can't do a thing. So, in a way, Izuku's just feeling the blood that's coursing through his veins. But before he notices it, his body just starts shooting out some kind of sickles, and his back feels more disrupted, as if hunching over was second nature. His body is more low to the ground, and Izuku is just wondering what's happening to him. He tries to stand up straight, but all he hears is cracking, and the pain is coursing through his back. This is when he just starts putting one foot forward and keeps doing it till he learns how to walk again, almost forgetting everything about what to do. And he says, "Why am I like this? I should be able to understand how to walk, right? Sheesh. My back hurts. What's going on? Who am I now?" And he is no longer the same person. And really, he's just trying to now run away. In this, Izuku is just running, and all he just knows is that he's fast. Faster than that guy. When he has that memory again of seeing that guy, he can now visually see exactly what he was doing and where his attacks were coming from. Now, Izuku just starts running towards the forest, and he sees a demon, and he's scared for a second. And this is when the demon looks at him, but then just runs away. And Izuku is now wondering to himself, why did he run? Now, I'm going to leave it off here, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And I hope I can do part 2 in a couple of hours, so that way everything will be alright. Crap, dropped my pen. Now, anyway, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.